Here to weigh in, Center for Industrial Progress founder and CEO Alex Epstein, along with Power of the Future founder and executive director Daniel Turner. All right, guys, it was an exciting weekend for American energy. Daniel, let's start with you. What is your just initial reaction to this historic investment in American energy producers?
Well, it's quite a paradigm shift from the last administration where you had Joe Biden going to Saudi Arabia, begging them to produce more oil. He sent emissaries to Iran and Venezuela, announcing he was lifting their sanctions, asking them to produce more oil while handicap production domestically. And so quite a change now. We have an American president who goes overseas and demands that people purchase our energy. And that's good for markets. It's good for the energy industry. It's good for America's dominance in the world. But it just is a very different mentality of leadership where America is in the control seat again. And energy is the key to this dominance on the world stage.
So, Alex, the investments that we're talking about here are, of course, enormous, just based on the figures themselves, which is really important for the American economy, for our energy sector. Geopolitically, though, it's also a pretty significant blow against Russia and the Kremlin, kind of 2 for 2 here in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very in favor of people buying U.S. energy when it's a good idea. And I think Europe is now waking up to the reality that, in particular, fossil fuels are something that's part of the future. I wrote the book Fossil Future, so definitely believe that, and definitely increases energy security of Europe. I would say, though, in the trade direction, we can do even more for energy if we even further lower trade barriers. So I think we should have way lower tariffs on Europe. And in general, the lower tariffs we have, the more trade we have, the more certainty we're going to have, the more energy demand we're going to have. And also things like steel prices, higher steel prices from tariffs are handicapping American producers. So I think we want more international energy, but also lower and lower tariffs.
All right, so this was my favorite part of President Trump's visit this weekend, because this is something that I also believe in. He was railing against the greenwashing of Europe, exposing the raw inefficiency of wind turbines littering the continent, and declared the end of wind source energy in the U.S.
We will not allow a windmill to be built in the United States. They're killing us. They're killing the beauty of our scenery, our valleys, our beautiful plains. And you look up and you see windmills all over the place. It's a horrible thing. It's the most expensive form of energy. It's no good.
And they kill lots of birds. There's also lots of other reasons that back up the president's statements there and why wind is not efficient. It's unpredictable. Wind plants impact local wildlife. They have radar interference for flying vehicles and airplanes and such. Ideal sites are often in remote locations, and they're noisy and alter the visual aesthetics, which the president was talking about. So, Daniel, I was happy to hear him telling the truth to the Europeans who think that wind is the way to go while they've been buying Russian gas and oil, and now they have this problem where they can't get rid of them when they break.
Well, the question for the Europeans is, when does wind start to work? They've been doing this for 25 years. They pay roughly 3 times what we pay for electricity. We saw the blackout of the entire Iberian Peninsula a couple of weeks ago. How much more subsidies does it need? How many more decades does it need? How much more expensive does it have to get before actually wind and solar are this vaulted panacea that they've been promising? I mean, the German economy is in complete recession. It's in decline because German manufacturing, that hailed entity, German manufacturing, can't afford to operate under current German electricity prices. So I just don't know when wind is actually going to work. It's been a long time. It's been a lot of money. I've seen no good results.
Yeah, so Alex, President Trump's basically saying, look, these wind turbines, they're inefficient, they're unreliable, and they're ugly. Where's the lie there?
Well, I think the key is, I get his frustration because we've had subsidized and mandated wind, and we have all this wind that would set of wind turbines that would not exist without all these subsidies and mandates. So I think the key, and a lot of this happened under Big Beautiful Bill, is to de-subsidize and de-mandate wind turbines. But I wouldn't say we shouldn't allow them. We shouldn't allow them to be subsidized. But if wind can actually compete on a free market, I think that's something we should welcome. It's going to be hard because of the deficiencies you mentioned, but I think it's really important that we be in favor of energy freedom for every source and let the best source win. And yeah, that's not going to be wind anytime soon very often, but I don't think we should disallow it.
I think the president's seen the writing on the wall, and that wind has not been an efficient source of taxpayer-funded energy at all. So we'll see where it goes. Alex, Daniel, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.